defense. They contained him pretty well, got around the quarterback. Awesome job by those guys. Did some things in the run game that we were happy with. The crowd made a huge difference, especially helping out that defense. And so really pleased to get this win because I do think that's a good football team.
Jonathan, you've obviously been here in the building of this defense from 2018 to now. What is it like for you guys as coaches to know you can go out there and with that defense and win a game where you don't need to throw for 400 yards and run up 45 points in a game?
Yeah, I mean, the way this played out, that was the feeling. The way our defense was playing, contested, getting around the quarterback. And so we were a little bit more conservative, a couple of fourth downs maybe we would have attempted in 2018, we didn't tonight. And it's credit to those guys. They've been working, growing, developing, buying in. That coaching staff on that side has done a really good job.
Did the plan on offense play out like you want, like kind of like when it was real grindy? You didn't do anything, look like you tried to do anything overboard or anything like that. Is that how you felt like it?
I felt like the game was going to play that way. We're going to try to make it physical and yeah, grind the ball, run the ball. That's a good defense. They present some problems. They're physical. I look at a couple of opportunities we had offensively that created by field position. Even the opening kickoff by Silas was huge. And again, like I said, Washington State's good on defense now, and we did more than enough, but enough the way our defense played.
And then one thing it seemed like was kind of under the radar a little bit with your offense is they helped your defense with all the field position. It seemed like Washington State was constantly having to go 70 and 80 yards all night long.
I do think our punter, Luke, did an awesome job tonight, flipping the field, punting the ball, and then gaining a few first downs in the field position thing. Our defense forced them to put long drives together. They weren't able to do it consistently.
2 penalties for 10 yards, 1 turnover, a really clean game, what you've been preaching. You feel like that turned a corner tonight in those areas?
Yeah, it definitely helped. And again, we're not trying to play penalty free, but especially the plays before the snap or after that we want to tighten up, and those guys did it. Yeah, the 1 turnover, it's 3rd and long, we were fortunate early. We put a couple balls on the ground and got on it, but it was a clean game for the most part.
Damian just continues to impress, and you said you wanted more carries than 3. He got that tonight. Where do you see things continuing to go for him?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think we're not blocking any different if Damian's in or Jam's in, Deshaun, but the guy's got the capability to create some things and has some huge runs. Had the one obviously down inside the 5. The guy's a good player, and just count on him only to get better. He's only a freshman.
Could you talk a little bit about Galbrinson's performance tonight, especially a little more on that pass to a goal, the touchdown pass?
Yeah, huge play. I think Anthony makes a huge catch for him. The way they were going to sell out to stop the run, we got him on the move in quite a bit, and they did a good job, taking what they gave him there. Like I said, the one turnover outside that it was pretty clean, and it's a good defense, man. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down especially. And Ben knew that coming in, so he had a little bit of a lull late second quarter, picked it up, and huge for us to come out in the second half, get the stop, and then put 7 up, and Ben was a part of that.
Speaking of that catch that Anthony made, obviously, I mean, that's an impressive catch, and you go back to Trey Sean's catch last week at the end of the game. How much have these receivers kind of helped Ben settle in with making plays like that?
Yeah, they have, because we got a good crew of them, and it's not just one guy making plays. Look at some of the guys, Tyjon on 3rd down again showed up. We've got some talent there, and I think Ben's got a lot of confidence in him.
To sort of piggyback on some of the questions you've already got, how confident are you guys in playing gritty games like this when you know the way that your defense has been playing all season?
Yeah, I think confident. This college football, you just look at, there's close games, whether it's high scoring, low scoring, they are going to be close. It's going to be four quarters, you win the thing there, and I think it played out that way tonight, and I think our guys are confident that they can play for 4 quarters.
Jonathan, I got to think that the Colletto short yardage stuff is one of the most scouted things in the conference, and it is just still so reliable for you. Why? Why isn't there a wall there?
Right. I think there was a couple tonight that Jack is getting stopped close to the line of scrimmage. He's falling forward. I think so. Part of the reason why is he continues to be physical and nifty and hitting the right creases. Again, we designed some different stuff each week, but he was pretty effective tonight.
Have you ever had a kid like that, and a player like that, like Jack?
I can't say I have. The way, his story, quarterback, so he understands all the offensive thing, how smart he is playing both sides. He's pretty athletic. He makes plays on special teams, defense, and obviously offense. He's a huge piece for us.
Jonathan, when Chance gets back, I'm sure you hope it's next week. Will he be the starter, or will Ben still be the
Yeah,
starter?
we'll take a look at it. We want to get him healthy first, and then we'll take a deep dive into this film, see what kind of plan we're putting together, see how Chance looks at practice, how Ben continues to work, and I do think we got two guys we can win games with.
Looks like you've found somewhat of a replacement for Musgrave with Jack Belling. He's suddenly really working into the game plan.
He's done a nice job catching the ball, getting out in space. True freshman. I think his future is really bright. I think it's tough to totally replace Luke Musgrave where he was at, but Jack's on his way.
Since the beginning of the season, both your offensive defense, we knew going in, your defense was going to be a lot stronger than in years past. You guys have just seemed comfortable, but a lot of times we've been in this room and you just have been a little, disappointed on the way your team's finished. But after tonight, how are you just feeling about the improvement, especially defensively, of this team since the beginning of fall camp?
Yeah, we feel good about the way this game played out, the way we finished. Really, the defensive effort throughout the whole game. And again, that's a good offense. We're growing defensively. They're going to give us a chance each week. I think our crowd makes a huge difference. These guys are confident at home. The crowd factor, communication, all that put together. We're definitely feeling good in that locker room right now.
A lot of games you come in here and one of the first things you're talking about, all the things you need to clean up. I get the impression, it's only a 24-10 game, but I get the impression that maybe you think, without looking at video, this is maybe your best performance of the season.
Well, I think defensively it was. And I'm proud of us offensively, not that we lit the scoreboard up, but the way we stuck to a plan, and we wanted to make it physical, had some good pieces off the run game, knowing that, our defense could play, and it was a good team football game. I look at our special teams. I think we covered pretty well. The huge return by Bolden. And the way Luke punted it, that was pretty solid performance.
I'm sure there were various markers along the way where you kind of chart the progress of the program and the ultra big picture, but being at 5 wins at this stage of the season, how did you just look at that for you guys?
Yeah, 5 is, a number, and we played 7, and we had opportunities in others, but we had opportunities to lose a couple games too. So, we're glad we won tonight. We got another opportunity to be back at home, and we'll have another challenge. So you kind of get into this week to week, and so we're feeling pretty good that we won tonight.
Jack, you find the end zone twice again today. What's sort of the feeling that you get when you hear your number called to go in, especially on the offensive end, when you know it's goal line, this is your spot?
When I get out there, it's touchdown. So that's really the only thing I get. Just read my keys and get on in there. So I'm fortunate everything's worked out. The O-line's great. The way they blocked tonight and made lanes really easy to see for me. And I'm just happy it all worked out.
Every time you get in the game, especially again in that goal line situation, there's a little bit more oomph in the crowd, and you really get to, a louder applause when you run out there and they're calling for your name. What's that feeling like for you?
Gosh, I love the energy and running out there and getting that. Everyone tends to feed off of it too. The O-line and pretty much the whole team, and just going out there and being able to do that's awesome.
Coming into this game, knowing that you've got a couple guys on the offensive side that are still out, big players for you guys, how have you as a leader kind of kept this offense together in order to come out tonight and still prove that even though you might have some injured players, that your offense is still a big threat?
Well, throughout the course of the season for any team, injuries are bound to happen. And we really believe in a next man up mentality. And we've been able to stick through that and stick to that. And guys have been able to step up where need be. And that just really goes to the process and the coaching of the team. And the process that everyone's bought into. So it doesn't really matter who's out there, they're able to go out and execute at a high level.
I'm curious, you do so much for the team, special teams, linebacker, fullback at times, running back, quarterback. How often do you even get in with that running back group during practice?
A lot of it's like going over with the offense and just spending time meeting with them. And I've been here forever now. I'm getting pretty old, if you haven't noticed the gray hairs, but I mean, just understanding the offense and being around it for so long, you kind of understand how everything works, and it's really just kind of a plug and play type of system. So I'm able to kind of picture and visualize how everything works out.
Jack, as you say, you've been around here forever, and you guys have had, the Washington State's had your number for a long time. Did that give you any more motivation in this game?
Oh, you really had to bring that up, man. Gosh. They have, and growing up in Washington, it definitely hurts, but the past 2 years have been really close games, and I'm just fortunate we were able to execute for 4 quarters and play for 4 quarters and come out on the right side of it.
Jack, just kind of talk about how big it was to get back in Reser Stadium after 2 weeks on the road, and was that kind of the boost the team needed to kind of get back to playing good football?
Oh, absolutely. And even winning against Stanford last week and coming off a win and having a little bit of momentum definitely propelled us into this week to have a great week of preparation, and we did. I mean, starting from Tuesday, the practices were fast, physical, and everybody was on their work. So I'm not really surprised by the result based off of what we were able to do throughout the week.
Jack, was the plan tonight to put you more involved into the offense? It seemed like you were out there quite a bit tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the plan for you?
Yeah, and especially the personnel-wise, because a lot of times they like to stay in nickel, so we wanted to be able to exploit that a little bit and run the ball, and which we were able to do. So going into the game, that was the game plan.
As a defensive player, how gratifying is a win like this, where it's kind of grindy, you're leaning on the defense a lot? What I mean, how does that impact you?
I mean, a win's a win, so however it gets done, and I'm completely fine with it. But be able to see the defense do what they're able to do with a dynamic quarterback like that it's a really good sign, and it's just the sky's the limit for us in regards to our defensive play, and it really gives the offense a lot of energy to feed off of as well. So, and I honestly thought the offense is like we executed, and of course there's some stops, and they're a good defense, but for the most part I thought we were able to move the ball and do good things.
However it gets done could probably apply to a lot of your wins this year, or several of your wins this year. What identity have you guys kind of created with the nature of, obviously the comebacks and then overcoming injuries, grinded out type wins? Like what is the identity of this team at this point versus, going into week 1?
I don't think the identity's changed at all. We believe in being a blue collar team and a gritty team, and no matter what's thrown our way, we're able to figure it out and get the job done.
Jack, the leading rusher and receiver tonight were both true freshmen. Just curious how much time you've spent working with Damian and Jack, and how impressed you've been with them early on in their careers.
Jack Colletto was the leading receiver?
Four catches, 63 yards.
Good for him, man. I mean, Jack Belling coming in was a great athlete, and I know Damian Martinez, when he came in January, very explosive athlete, worked hard, and even since spring ball, you could see that juice and the energy he brought. So to see those guys go out and succeed and play at the level they're playing, it's really not surprising, but it is really impressive based off of what they're able to do in practice and how fast they're able to pick things up.
As a current quarterback, you know how difficult it is to jump in, and play when someone's injured, or to, not know if you're necessarily starting leading up to the day. But how have you seen Ben sort of handle that quarterback position over the weeks, and what do you make of his performance today?
I thought he managed the game great, and sometimes with the way our offense is working and the way we're able to run the ball, sometimes it's just you kind of have to have a game manager-like mentality and just be able to manage the game, and I thought he did that perfectly. And for Ben, seeing him in practice, he could obviously sling it. He makes all the reads. He makes a lot of good decisions. So I thought what he did tonight, he played a great game.
The plan to contain Ward tonight, I wonder if you could just kind of elaborate on that. It looked like you guys were trying to keep him in the pocket and make him maybe beat you with his arm.
Yeah, no, he's a very talented quarterback, and he could run, so we want to make sure we kept him inside the pocket and just continue to bring a lot of pressure and collapsing on him.
Did you feel like as the game wore on, you guys were frustrating him?
I think so. I was looking at all the, I think we did a pretty good job, but we can still do a lot better on that.
And then, it seems like for weeks been hearing, Washington State's got this great defense. I'm just wondering, do you guys hear that? Does it get under your skin at all? Because it seems like it's pretty clear,
We try to tune out a lot of outside noise. We know what type of defense we are, and we just try to worry about ourselves and focus on what we could do.
Washington State obviously didn't run the ball a whole lot, but to hold them to 23 yards, obviously you were doing something right. What was working for you in the front seven there?
We were just resetting the line of scrimmage, being able to dominate up front, which is what we wanted to start with, and I think we did a great job with that.
with the way the defense is playing, you know, throughout the season, the whole defense as a whole, how confident are you guys in games like this where it's kind of gritty and it's practically a one-score game?
Oh man, we're confident in every game we play. I know what all the dudes beside me in the D-line, I know all the secondary linebackers, the DBs, what all of us could do. So, I mean, me personally, I'm confident every play with those guys, and I try to make sure it's the same when I'm out there.
You guys have some injuries on the offensive side. Coming into this game, knowing that your secondary was really going to have to perform, how do you handle that sort of pressure? Do you feel like that pressure, talking to some of your teammates on the defensive side, like does that pressure help you? Does it ever get, you guys get nervous? You don't want to hear about all these injuries on the offensive side. How do you handle that?
We play the next man up mentality. We know what all the guys could do on our team. And we always wanted to be on the defense and be able to go out there and make plays and give it back to the offense.
Ryan in the secondary, Ryan Cooper, obviously, over the last couple of weeks, it seems like he's been sort of making a spot for himself in that secondary. Obviously, there's a lot of names in that secondary, but what have you seen specifically from Ryan?
He's a great player. He came in, great cover player. He knows what he's doing out there. He brings a lot of juice, fires up everyone up, and he's fun to play with.
And a lot of other times we've been in this room, the defense just has struggled to kind of finish, to really come out and finish tonight, get the job done, only hold them to one touchdown in that second half. What does that mean to you and the defense, and how much you guys have improved this season at that?
Yeah, it's huge. We don't try to look at what quarter it is, all that. We just try to go in there, play it as a 0-0 ball game, and just do what we do, play our defense.
It feels good. Our coach is trusting us. We trust each other as players. It's good to meet expectations, go out there and play how we should.
What was the game plan with their quarterback? Was it mostly to keep him in the pocket and try to make it beat with his arm, or how? What was?
Yeah, we wanted to contain him as a QB. As an offense, we wanted to keep making him snap the ball, take away the big plays, keep converting on third down, and really earn every score they get.
Any questions?
Kitan, look at the stat sheet and it shows, that the defensive backs are making sacks and also breaking up passes. I'm just curious, when you're covering the field like that, I mean, how many different things do you have to pay attention to when you have different assignments like that?
You have to pay attention to the tight ends or the splits, but really it's just eyes. Your eyes on your guy. If you're going to get if you're getting a blitz, you just got to make sure you get home because your guys are waiting for you. So.
Kitan, back here. I'm curious what you think of the pass rush tonight overall. Obviously, you guys as DBs were making some sacks, but just overall, the pass rush has been up and down this season. You guys have been pretty consistent on the back end. What do you make of the pass rush?
They're going to get home. Either way, if they get home or not, we still have to have good coverage, good eyes, good technique. When we get our hands on the ball, that's when good technique meets opportunity. So we still got to do our part in the back end.